Hi guys, it's Mr. Miller here, and this is my presentation on, or my explanation of your first formal evaluation, which will be a formal debate. Just changed for the reality we're living in right now and COVID-related rules. I like to always explain usually why I choose to do a formal debate, because I believe it's an important skill in life. The ability to build an argument and defend it is again applicable in the legal sense when you're in court. Again, you're a crown prosecutor trying to convince a jury or a judge that a person is guilty. And on the opposite side, a defense lawyer, you're building arguments and defending your client to make sure they get the best defense possible. But in life, when you're negotiating for a raise or just debating and discussing, which we try and do a lot of in my grade 12 law class, it is a very important skill. So for this formal debate, you're going to be picking a topic and researching it in depth and to help you form your opinions. So from the get-go, I'm going to tell you this is not the regular format for a formal debate. Usually in grade 12 law, it's in person, obviously, and you guys are all at home. So I had to come up with a solution of how I was going to do this project because I really like doing this project. And I find a lot of students, again, when they think about Mr. Miller's class a couple of years from now, this is what they remember. So usually it's in person. There's two sides presenting to the class and me, the moderator. So usually, again, I have teams on either side of me and the class is in front of me. And again, we usually have a great debate. But we can't do that. I can't have students kind of working directly beside each other. So I've had to change the format a bit. And this is what I've come up with. So we're still going to be working either with individuals, partners, or trios, no fours. Again, one to three is what I allow. It's still going to be argumentative in nature. You're going to be picking a side and defending it. You're going to be pro an issue or con an issue. We're not going to be going down the middle, presenting both sides. That's not what I'm asking you to do, and you're not going to do that if you were ever a lawyer in court. So the way we're going to do this, so instead of speaking to the class, you're going to record yourself giving the same speech. You're going to be providing audio to me. So you're going to create an audio file some way, somehow, and I'll teach you how to do that. And this can be done with a Chromebook. And then after you've recorded your parts of your speeches, you're going to submit them to Google Classroom. And there's going to be two parts of the submission. So the first part is going to be the introductory statement you prepare for me, your argument section, and your concluding statement. So these three parts of the debate will be handed in first. So once you've handed those in, we're going to proceed to the second part, where myself and your kind of colleagues in class are going to watch some of your videos, and I'm going to ask you to watch some of their videos. And you're going to come up with a list of 3 questions, and these 3 questions will be kind of given to each team, and then they're going to have to respond in a quick fashion where they, again, record their responses. I'll make this clearer in the coming days, but there's going to be 2 parts. The first where you kind of present your information, then the audience listens to it, again, not right then and there, but then they have a chance to respond, think of some questions, and then present them to you, and you answer those questions. So the format of the debate. So for your introductions, so usually, again, we go back and forth, but the first thing you're going to do for me is a quick introductory statement where you're going to introduce your point of view and what you're arguing and briefly summarize how you're going to prove it. And you have a maximum 2 minutes to do this. Again, against will do the opposite, do the same. For your arguments, this is going to be like the body of, an essay, the big part of an essay where you prove your point of view to be true. using point-proof explanations. And again, traditionally, they should be between 5 to 7 minutes, and 7 minutes being the maximum. You cannot talk and present more than 7 minutes in your argument section. Kind of that part that's now going to come after is the kind of the rebuttal stage. But usually, again, I'm going to limit it to about 3 questions. So again, I'm going to ask your colleagues and your fellow students to watch some of your presentations, and I'm going to collect questions from them, and I'm going to pick 3 good ones, and I'm going to give you those questions to answer. Not right then and there, but again, you get to think about them and then prepare your answers and then record your response. And the last thing that will be a part of your debate will be a 1-minute concluding statement. So this is a little different from the traditional way I present this, but I think we can still accomplish the same goals and respect all of these COVID rules and regulations we're currently living in. The traditional topics are, again, marijuana legalization, prostitution, affirmative action. So again, prostitution legalization, whether or not we should have it legalized, affirmative action.
Kathy Coe, please call 5560.
Announcement to interrupt me.
Kathy Coe, 5560.
So with affirmative action, that is when you give a certain kind of person a certain benefit given something, a characteristic about them that usually has held them back in the past. In terms of where you can see that in society, often when it comes to science programs at university, they often offer extra spaces for, again, female students, because female students are often underrepresented in these programs. They're traditionally very male-centric. So again, women in this case are often given more spots and more advantages when applying to certain university programs. The same can apply to police forces and firefighters. Again, they're often, again, have certain benefits and certain kind of regulations which allow, again, female people who apply to those jobs to be more likely to be given those jobs. In Canada, Indigenous people, again, to right some of the historical wrongs in which they faced. Again, when we think about, again, sometimes income tax limitations on people of Indigenous backgrounds, other educational opportunities like free tuition that are given to some Indigenous people based on some of their circumstances, those are examples of affirmative action. Is that right or is that wrong? Censorship, and this is government censorship. Should the government be allowed to kind of limit what a person willingly searches for? Like if I want to read about any subject, regardless if it's good or bad, again, immoral or moral, should the government have an ability to stop me from doing that? Single gender education. So should we have boys only schools, girls only schools? Is there any merit to having a single gender education, or do young people benefit from having a mixed gendered education? Year-round education. So in Canada, we're used to this 10-month-a-year school year, but that's not the case around the world, and even in the United States, where some of them go to school 12 months a year. Banning mixed martial arts. So again, think UFC. A lot of people consider this to be a very violent sport. Some people are entertained by it. Should we have it, or should we get rid of it? And lastly, mandatory minimum sentences. So again, if someone does a certain crime, should they automatically be given a certain sentence regardless of any extenuating circumstances? I know you probably have a lot of questions, and if you have any questions, make sure you